Welcome to Two Each Way. Phones on. I'm Ross Stevenson. He's Hamish McLachlan. Whatever your two is, enjoy. Make sure you follow Two Each Way and don't miss an episode. And email us anytime with a story or question. Two Each Way at tappedmedia.com.au. Tapped spelled T-A-P-T. And we have an Instagram page. Just search for Two Each Way. Still don't have the podcast is so bad. Still doesn't have a sponsor. But I'm proud to welcome a couple of along this week, Hamish. Two Each Way, brought to you by Advanced Hair Studios. Horse lost in a photo finish that had you pulling your hair out? Do not stress. Purchase Advanced Hair Studios 30-day treatment and Nasonex nasal spray. Have a weekend where you actually pick too many winners? Try Nasonex nasal spray. Do you reckon this desperation for a sponsor will ever provide anything at all, Home?
I can't imagine. I mean, I've listened to the podcast back a couple of times, and if I was a sponsor, I would not.
Last weekend, did fortune abandon you? Did you have a very good day? Yeah, let's just narrow it down. Sometimes the universe actually taps you on the shoulder. Just doesn't, it taps you on the shoulder and says, "Idiot, here I am. My name is the universe." We went looking, my oldest boy and I, Handsome Joe, for omens on Monday relating to the freeze at the G. And we found two horses. One was called, I don't know, Ice Bath or something, running at Ballina, scratched. The other one was called Hailstones, meeting abandoned. Right? So I went searching elsewhere, and you'd be very proud of me, Haim. I ended up in Tokyo, right?
To each other.
And here we go. And let's just stop it if you could for a moment.
Race at the moment.
I have my only daughter is called Lauren, right? So if I'm looking through a form guide and I see the word Lauren, I would go, oh, that's my daughter's name. The words that came after Lauren of this horse name in Tokyo was Mont Blanc. White Mountain, I think it's France's highest mountain. It is covered in ice and snow. And I thought, isn't that interesting? Lauren Mont Blanc, Tokyo Race 4.
Still has a lead, but sneaking in on the inside as well. June 4th, coming up on the outside, Laurent Mont Blanc. Laurent Mont Blanc now gaining a little bit of ground and gaining some steam here. Sudagabijin trying to cut him off at the pass, not able to do so, as it's Laurent Mont Blanc coming in for the victor of Sudagabijin. And June 4th.
Tell me something, Hamish. $16, is that a good dividend?
You didn't have a cent on it, did you?
Did not have a yen.
You didn't have a cent on it, did you?
No. So, Lauren, the universe says, here's your daughter's name, clown, right? And then here are the words Mont Blanc. Not a cent on it, $16. How about you?
Yeah. Well, the other part that was unmissable was, how old's Lauren now, 11? 10. She's the same age as T-Lex, Lexi Boy of Would You Rather fame. The other thing is she's never written with anything other than a Mont Blanc.
Well, I'm down to about my last 10. And the Mont Blanc pen, of course, if you can envisage its signature theme on the pen itself is a snow-capped mountain. Right, it just gets even more ridiculous.
And the cheapest Mont Blanc pen that you've been able to find, Lauren, anywhere in the world when you bought her first dozen of them is about $1,500.
Right, I've given you my one for the weekend. I look forward to your 43. What have you got?
Well, yesterday was the memorial service for the great Neil Danaher. Big Freeze was on Monday, so it was always going to be Danaher's week. I want you to look at this race in Darwin. Watch the yellow silks that are absolutely no chance of winning, and then listen to the name of the horse that wins.
Then Australia Pride, Danaher sticking to the inside from Fabergé Czar, and No, I'm Not to the outside. Anecdotal runs to the 200-metre mark, a narrow leader, but Collison's drew level, put the nose in front. Danaher runs on, and so does No, I'm Not. Collison hit the lead now inside the 100. Danaher's coming two to its one. It's coming big time, Danaher. It's coming at Collison and got there. Danaher wins it a neck on the line to Collison.
You've got to be kidding me.
Have you seen anything like that?
Superb. Where was that? In Darwin?
Darwin race 1. So I'd had 15 million on that at 8 to 1. That got me square for the day.
All right, take me to a few other places. Oh, by the way, sorry, don't take me yet.
Flemington.
No need to respond. But I cannot tell you the number of people who have gone out of their way to tell me what a brilliant job you did emceeing the state funeral for Neil Danaher. Moving on.
Thank you. It was a privilege. Race 3, mate of mine, Ollie Tate. The colours he has are the same as Tie the Knot and Baguette. All red body and sleeves of the white cap. Paddy Payne, great trainer, trains. It was a market mover. Made a few texts, said, yes, it'll go well. You tell me if you think this horse wins. Red Silks, white cap, running wire.
Leads 2 lengths, stalemate, out chief after him. Here's Callio in the middle now starting to sprint. Belmezian, Dernis here making ground from a long way back, but Callio found the front. Dernis is trying to chase him down, coming at the end with big strides. It's going to be close again. Oh, Callio, did he just hang on? We'll find out.
No, I don't reckon he did hang on. I reckon Dernis or whatever it's called won.
No, Dernis is the horse we need. That's in the red and white. Do you think red and white won or red and white ran second?
I reckon it won. Should have, you cunning thing. Yeah, should have been on to that one, shouldn't I?
Say something else then when you said cunning. So I think that's the first horse I've ever backed that's won, or whatever a dead heat is, in a dead heat. So Lex and I, Miller and Indian Sophie, are sitting there on Saturday.
You're punting with your 10-year-old,
I'm not punting, which I could. Well, he, yes. So we are trying to work out flights to Sumba, which is a joint I don't know really where it is in Indonesia. We are going through flights. At Ellerslie, the race caller says, and Fly My Way is the one they want late.
Something Superfly, Fly My Way in the centre. Superfly, she's ranged up on the outside. Coming with it though is Fly My Way, Superfly and Drop of Something. Fly My Way's holding Superfly. Fly My Way will beat Superfly third over.
You could have backed Superfly. The thing ran second.
I know. I didn't even see Superfly in the whatever.
So sorry. There's one thing I don't understand. If Big Beard and Handsome Joe, while we're doing this, could you ring BRW and ask them whether Hamish is appearing in the Richest 200 this year? All he does every week is come in and tell us about 5 winners he backed.
Yeah, but the 75 losers are not good TV. So now, Richard Goyder's farewell last week, I had to host Josh Kay at Channel 7. I always ring him and say, can you give me some odd things that happened during Richard Goyder's reign? And he said, well, in April 2017, it was all happening. Not only did Goyder replace Fitzpatrick as chairman, but Xi Jinping Lee and Donald Trump had their first face-to-face meeting in Florida. Sergio Garcia beat Justin Rose in the Masters. The Fate of the Furious was dominating in the box offices. Ed Sheeran's Shape of You was into its 3rd month as the biggest song on the planet. And the world record was set when 662 Charlie Chaplin lookalikes gathered at Manuel de Barn in Vevey in Switzerland. So I'd just been reading that and writing Goyder's farewell speech. And not dissimilar to Ellerslie, at Randwick, caller says, Mr. Chaplin seems to be the best backed in the last for those that want to get out.
Mr. Chaplin awkwardly placed needing room. Crossbows looking for a rails run. Now Nitro 3 off the leaders coming down the outside. 3 across the track. Invader Zim, High Blue Sea. Winston Hills, Nitro hasn't got there yet. Crossbow behind with Mr. Chaplin. Invader Zim, High Blue Sea. Mr. Chaplin ambushes them. Mr. Chaplin got up on the wire.
He is been a lifelong fascination of mine. I think he's had the most remarkable life of any human being ever, Charlie Chaplin. If you get a chance to read his autobiography, which is called My Autobiography, but
give me a snapshot.
His father was a hopeless alcoholic. His mother was put in an insane asylum. He was raised by his half-brother, Sydney, in government care in the most indigent circumstances known to humanity. And by age 22 was earning $100,000 a week. and was the most famous man.
That's a pretty good comeback.
And was the most famous man on earth. Just an extraordinary story, Charlie Chaplin. And a great...
He made it.
And for those listening who are contemplating writing an autobiography, you might want to take the same approach as Charlie Chaplin, who left 2 wives out. They didn't even get a run. So there you go. Just a little...
How many did he have?
I'd say 5 or 6. Yeah.
Seems the right
one. Right. Working on it.
So Sammy Kennedy, he was a part of our multi-listener multi. He's an absolute 2 each way obsessive, one of the great humans. He texted me last week to say, I'm never backing the Hawks again, which brings me to a conversation that I need to have with the 3 of you, Big Beard, Ross, and Hot Joe, who continue to tell me how the Hawks are unbeatable. And as a result, you've gone the early crow on all of them, and you've actually crippled the whole of the football club, and you should be ashamed of yourselves. We're going to talk about that later. He texts me on Sunday, 3:17 p.m., says, Sammy's wife, and I were in the queue waiting for a bus to pick us up in Kyoto. We're on a work trip. I was looking at the betting account and had to have a dabble on this. Bang, bang. He's waiting in the queue. Swan Hill, race 7, join the queue.
People call me runs on. Join the queue from Bolt Saver. Some people call me join the queue. Bolt Saver, join the queue. Just in front, join the queue. Won a nose over Bolt Saver, I think.
That's a hell of a call, just to call the winner off that. I wouldn't have a clue who won that. Wow, join the queue. So there's 5 winners on the trot. You're a Monty to be in the... We get a market on whether you'll be in the BOW Rich 200 this year. I think you're about $1.13.
Dude, I'll lay that.
How about can we approach BRW to sponsor 2 each way? Eh?
Yes.
You know.
Want to get in the BRW Rich list? Punt away.
Emails. Send your emails to 2eachway@tappedmedia.com.au. Russell, just joining on the party on Ross's love of contemporary Celtic music. My favourite band, Pete and Diesel. And last week we were told about a band called... Kingfisher, who I listened to on their Ace. Russell says, an Irish band going by the name of The Scratch, whose genre is described as heavy metal folk, recently popped up on my Spotify, and I must say, I've found one, says Russell. They played at the Corner Hotel in April, and I went and saw them with 2 of my sons. Sensational live. Propped by one of my son's mates, Irish Mike. I even joined a pretty frenetic mosh at one point. Not something I'd recommend to other 67-year-olds. 2 standouts are Another Round and Old Dog, but just all-round brilliant in my humble opinion. Let's have a listen to The Scratch with Another Round.
Take the edge off the knife, catch the rain before it all runs dry, cure the dog of all that is it, you'll still be that bitter man inside, they are changing all the time.
Yeah, I'm in. That's going. I'm going to listen to that.
I'm in.
And the man with the unlikely name of William Wallace, which I've got as 101 on to be. Do you reckon his name really? Big Beard says William Wallace. He says, I love that Kingfisher got a mention last week. Not only is their music incredible, but they've built a following for what they call kitchen sessions. While on tour, they organised to head to a local fan's house after each set and perform a few songs in the fan's house. Can we do that on 2 each way? Some awesome videos online, which Big Beard should be able to track down. He says, well, I got you. I'm a Queenslander heading down to Melbourne next week for the State of Origin. I want your best pub to have a few beers at. Best pub near... But how about the Boozy Rouge? Boozy Rouge is close enough to the MCG, where I assume State of Origin is being played. And best Chinese... Well,
London Tavern.
Oh, yeah, London Tavern's good. London Tavern, Boozy Rouge, Chinese. Well, the elite in Melbourne is the Flower Drum. I think I'm looking around for help here, and they're all sticking their nose in their computers trying to avoid eye contact. Enjoy Stradbroke Day this weekend. The more you have the transatlantic, the more you'll get back. Here's Tim again, who says... given I was deemed to be both Cheech and Chong last week for penning some words, I'll go for a bit of the green, as in Toby Green, 16 plus disposals at $1.63. He says, Neil Danaher. Neil was selfless to the core to render his condition not as a personal battle, but to stare the beast in the eyes, to unite a nation with a humble yet determined stare, to say so simply and powerfully, MND, you may take me, you may cause me and my loved ones much pain, but one day, as we all unite and fight, there will come a day when you are slain. Well done. He says, play on. Jack says, Ross, I've heard you many times talk through your betting theories. Place names, omen bets, fancied 14s, race 4, number 11. I can't believe you actually paid attention. The numbers 3, 6, 9, and your latest, bet small, win big. I'm yet to have a win on any of these, and I'd hazard a guess you're in the same position. I have a new theory for you. Just close your eyes and randomly point to the form guide. I bet it gets up. All right, let's go to Saturday the 13th of June. Let's go to Rose Hill, and let's go to, the Queen Elizabeth Cup, a listed race. Okay, it's got enough runners. Oh, no, not enough runners. Let's go to Racing and Sports Handicap. You got enough runners? You got enough runners. Okay, here we go. Closing my eyes, scrolling up and down. Got no idea where I am. Have I got one here, Big Beard? Yeah. What is it? Here we go. Number 16, Big Papa. There we go, Big Daddy, Big Papa. We'll see how it goes. What's your number? This started off the back of how many unread emails, text messages.
Can I just ask you a question?
Yeah.
Just a question, Big Papa. Can I ask you this? Yeah. You know, I was reading those emails out before, and Russ was talking about his love of contemporary Celtic music. Yeah. When is Celtic, and when is it the Boston Celtics?
Yeah, and what is...
Scottish, Celtic is Irish.
Celtic is Scottish, Celtic is Irish, says Big Beard. Okay. Well, it's Celtic Rangers. Big Ange was the manager of Celtic, wasn't he? Not Celtic. Good question. What's your number? This started off the back of how many unread emails, text messages you had. You know, it was up in the thousands. My number.
Thousands.
My number. And you might want to alert 10-year-old Lexi boy to this. Oh, he's probably not at that age yet. My number is 3.31. My 14-year-old has had exams this week, and in an endeavour to get him to be interested in the subject, what I do is I ask AI for a 10-paragraph summary, in this case, of the causes of World War I. I then ask it to convert that summary often into lyrics that might be written by Eminem. I then go to my friend Artie Fishel and say, could you turn those lyrics into a song? His subject was causes of World War I. You may need to stand and acknowledge that you are in the presence of a genius very shortly. I asked for a 10-paragraph summary of the causes of World War I. I said, turn them into the lyrics that this band might employ. I then went to Artie Fishel and I said, could you turn it into a song? And the song that I then played to my son to get him interested in the causes of World War I, the internet called Summer of 1914.
Sarajevo, summer sunlight, a pistol crack in broad daylight. One young man, one fatal aim, and suddenly nothing stays the same. The telegrams begin to fly, the diplomats can only try. One nation calls, another replies, and Europe catches fire. The wires are crossed, the engines roar. What started small becomes a war. Militarism, alliances to imperial dreams breaking through. National pride burning bright, turning a spark into a night, and the world keeps.
Now, I wish this podcast was live, because I would think that there would be listeners who would know the name of the band whose style I asked Artie Fishel to produce the song in. I asked it to produce a song in the style of the Scottish band Franz Ferdinand. Are you standing yet? Because it was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand that was the trigger for the outbreak. This is going to turn into an educational show, this one, isn't it?
Well, we've already had too much racing on it. We talked for about a minute and a half on racing. We can play on.
What are the odds? Do you know the story as to how Archduke Franz Ferdinand actually got assassinated? That caused...
I don't know anything about it.
They had a crack, the Serbians, at knocking off Franz Ferdinand, who's the son of the emperor of the Austro-Hungarian Empire, and they missed. They got his mate. So then they rush Archduke Franz Ferdinand back towards his castle for safety, and Franz Ferdinand says, hey, no, turn around, get me to the hospital where my mate's being treated. It's the only decent thing to do under the circumstances. They go, all right. So the chauffeur turns around. He's heading to the hospital. He takes a wrong turn down a side street, and Gavrilo Princip, who just unsuccessfully tried to kill him, he's gone into a deli to have a couple of pots to console himself. He walks back out in the street, looks up, and there's a car coming down towards him with Franz Ferdinand sitting in the back of it. So he pulls out the old equaliser and goes kablooey, kills him. World War I, 20 million dead. Fair dinkum. Don't have to be dead to be stiff, do you?
Is that story based
100%
on
true.
fact, or is that... That's unbelievable. So, and when he shot him, did he say, I'm not threatening you, I'm warning you?
No, he said, I'm preparing you.
I'm preparing
they got a remake.
And for extra points, what was the name of the pub he was having a lager in before he stepped out and went
look it up. So there will be a name. And get on this for what I call the tungsten effect. I was talking on the 3AW breakfast program, 5:31 morning this week with Russell, and I said, it'd be interesting to find out who are the greatest bit players in history. And Russell goes, what do you mean? Well, I'm going to go Franz Ferdinand's chauffeur is the greatest bit player in history. Unbeknownst to me, at the same time, our producer, Scorcher, is on AI, and he asks ChatGPT or whatever, he goes, who are the biggest bit players in history? And it goes, number one would have to be Franz Ferdinand's driver. Yeah.
Ooh.
I mean, really? What's going on? Here we go. You ask and you receive. Schiller's Delicatessen is where he was. There you go. Told you. Anyway, I don't know. How do we get on? Anyway, my number's 3:31. That song goes for 3 minutes 31. We move it on to...
I reckon Russ Ackerman from Access Workwear needs to produce a hoodie with a good little logo with Schiller's Delicatessen. Schiller's Delicatessen. Small, not too big, but only about 6 people in the world will know. But that is an excellent
That would be
hoodie.
great. What would be the motto of Schiller's Delicatessen? Schiller's Delicatessen. Anything's possible.
Ready to change your day.
Next, for Hot Joe and is Schiller's Delicatessen. Is there any delicatessen? Is there a Schiller's Delicatessen anywhere in the world now? We've got to do an OB from it. Would you rather? Oh, you got a number. I've just assumed you're as lazy as usual.
Well, this is the reality. You think everyone's as lazy as you.
That's true.
So would you rather? I'm going with number 36.
Mm-hmm.
That is the number of Cozzy Pickett. Now, Cozzy Pickett on Monday had been doing different bits and pieces at various levels. He'd missed a couple of sitters. He's playing Collingwood in front of 88,000. All around the stadium, it says play on, as per Neil's instruction. They're leading by a couple of points. The ball gets sent with about 30 seconds to play inside the forward 50. All he needs to do is mark the ball and do nothing for 30 seconds and they win the game. If he plays on and misses, gives Collingwood the ball, they can run at the end of the ground, kick a goal and snatch victory from the jaws of defeat. Cozzy Pickett marks, plays on and kicks the most extraordinary goal in front of 88,000. It was a seriously great acknowledgement to Neil, whether he was thinking or not. But your boy Handsome Joe said, do you think he read the signs and decided to just play on, or did he do it instinctively? Now, instinctively is the answer, but he ended up making an 8-point game by playing on kicking the goal. So 36 and 8, Cozzy Pickett, well played. Would you rather?
Hang on,
Great
before you
question.
do.
So,
Before you do,
this is
ever been to Tampa, Florida? Because we're headed there. We're going to go to Schiller's Delicatessen.
Is that where we're doing the outside broadcast?
Yeah, Schiller's Delicatessen, still operating in Tampa, Florida. Schiller's Delicatessen. Start a war. Would you rather?
Lexi and I did this rush this morning as he was getting out the door. Would you rather 1 week with the hottest supermodel in the world, age 22,
10-year-olds asking me this.
but then nothing at all until you're 33 when you meet your soulmate, or B- all your life?
Oh, I go with B-. I was having this discussion on air or off air, I can't remember. Someone said, would you accept a B life? I reckon, yeah, you'd accept a B life, wouldn't you? As my friend Shelley says, mediocrity's underrated, right? And my question as an ongoing philosophical observation is anyone who's ever been described as a soulmate? Next, would you rather?
I doubt. I doubt that to be true. It's just a nice handle on your business. She's my soulmate. He's my soulmate. Yeah, sure. So, no formal training. Would you rather have to fly a helicopter from Melbourne to Geelong, or skydive this afternoon?
No training. Oh, definitely skydive. I think all you got to do is pull the ripcord. Surely, that's all. Sure, you pull the ripcord. Sure, you might run into a train but a helicopter. I had a mate who used to run an airline business locally here in Victoria, Hawthorn support. And I mentioned I was going on a helicopter once, and he said, "What, 10,000 nuts and bolts all trying to pull themselves apart?" And I thought, I've never quite looked at a helicopter the same way ever again. No, definitely.
Have you been in many helicopters?
I have. But I have, I think for...
You don't want to think about it.
No, 10 years now I've had a no helicopter rule.
He's annihilating you.
Yeah, well, I agree with you. Anyway, I think that I'm also skiving. So would you rather, number 3, be the NBA referee in Game 7, or on the last Saturday of September, one of 2 AFL umpires in the grand final?
I'll tell you 2 stories here. I think I'd rather be the NBA referee, right? Because...
Do you even know the rules?
Well, they don't appear to know them either, right? And that they never seem to crack it. Am I right? I'm looking at Joe here. They pretty much get some respect. One of my oldest mates, we were in the choir together in the late 14th century, was one of the boundary umpires in the 1990 grand final. And he said if you had a large crowd at the MCG and it was a close game and one of the sides kicked a goal, doesn't matter who the sides were, large crowd, that roar, he said, was unbelievable. He said in the 1990 grand final, that was the crowd noise for the entire final 15 minutes of the game. Was like the traditional roar you get for a goal in a close game. He said the entire last 15 minutes was like that. Would you rather?
Dinner with Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Usain Bolt, or Roger Federer?
Roger Federer. Because I don't know much about basketball.
Michael Jordan not coming into your mind there? It's Jordan or Roger for me.
He'd be smoking the whole way through. So, yeah, he'd have a cigar out and...
Don't you smoke?
No. And I'd say Roger's just...
What do you mean? What do you mean no?
What do you mean?
You don't have the occasional sneaky little puff dragon. I love the answer to that. No, I don't. Don't you? Oh, no, I do, yeah.
Top 7 people who smoke cigars. Winston Churchill,
Jordan,
Groucho Marx. Groucho Marx on his television program, what was it called? He said he once had a woman on and she revealed that she had 10 children. And he said, 10 children? And she said, I like children. He said, I like cigars, but I take them out of my mouth occasionally. Have we finished with Would You Rather? I reckon his show was called something like Would You Rather. Could you look up, what was Groucho Marx's television show? It was called Would I Lie to You?
In one family.
What's that?
What's the most number of children you know in one family?
The Curtains, there are about 12, I think. 12, maybe.
I know a family of 18, which all
yeah.
single births, all under the age of 21, which brings me to the question. What do you think the most number of children between one man and one woman is?
I'm going to say 60-something.
Well, you're actually in the right ballpark. I'm going to give you 3 guesses for 15 million.
61. 62. Lemon chicken.
Lemon
69.
Chicken. What's lemon chicken?
Oh, is it? I got my 15 million.
Yep.
Woohoo.
Yes.
There was a very...
A Russian couple, if you look it up on Wikipedia, a Russian couple, I think there's like 8 sets of quads and 7 sets of triplets, and it all is incredible. The unbelievable bit, the bloke went and had more kids with another woman.
Their family caught it.
You know when you're at 44, you go, should we have another? 56. Do you feel like we need more?
Court hearing must have been interesting. There was a very famous magistrate called Darcy Dugan, Chief Magistrate in Melbourne. Still with us, Dart, and in his 90s, I reckon he came second in the golf at Flinders Golf Course about 4 to 6 weeks ago. Anyway, very, very funny man, mad Tiger supporter. But anyway, he was hearing a case one day, and the barrister, he goes, next case. And the barrister stands up and goes, this kid's charged with possessing a lethal weapon. And the barrister gets up in his defence and says, Your Worship, my client is one of 18 children. Darcy goes, sounds like his father ought to be on this charge. Good call. Dennis Cometti from you.
Dennis.
Kick inside the forward 50. And Franklin comes up and takes the mark. So well held for so long.
This is going to be something about lighting a
5 or 6 kicks in the second half, all being inside the 50. Don't think about a short pass. Needs to go at goal here because he can light a fire under himself. The smoke is starting to rise. Hawthorn are back in front, but more importantly, the man who put them there is Buddy.
How good's that for sort of flow and poetry and timing and cadence?
The best.
So good.
Yeah, unbeatable. I just thought also I should bring a game up where Hawthorn win, because since you three have put the moz on them, I'm likely to see one for a while.
We know that chants are an essential part of soccer, and we know that the World Cup is about to start in the US, Canada, and Mexico, and we know that Australia's playing Turkey, I think, at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon. And the chants are incredibly either inspirational or funny from in the English Premier League. This is a bunch of Arsenal supporters who are presumably following a game or before a game, whatever, and one of the Arsenal supporters finds on the ground a set of keys. So naturally he does what you do under the circumstances. He gets up at a higher point and starts a chant trying to locate the owner of the keys.
Whose keys are they? Whose keys are they? Whose keys are they? He's got his keys! He's got his keys! He's got his keys!
Hey, how good?
Very good.
But it's under threat because earlier in the week we saw a group of American soccer fans giving.
We support the U.S., the U.S., the U.S. And that's the way we like it. We like it. We love it.
Thing you have ever heard in your life. Yeah, Ben bananas. They're yellow and they taste good.
Oh, I like bananas.
Yum,
I
yum,
like
yum.
bananas. I like bananas.
I've found one. What have you got?
Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy banana. So yesterday, Beck Danaher rang on the basis that Neil's favourite Australian artist, or one of, was Paul Kelly. Rings Mushroom and said, is there any way you can get me in touch with Paul Kelly? They get Paul Kelly's manager. They said, Neil would like you to sing Leaps and Bounds at the funeral. He says, absolutely no problem. Love to. Yesterday, we go into a rehearsal at 10:30. Funeral's not until 1. So there's a bit of mulling around. They said, there's a room around the corner for you and anyone who needs it. I walk in there. It's the change rooms of the MCG. I'm the only one in there. I go to the loo. I just finishing up, washing my hands. Around the corner comes Paul Kelly. I said, g'day, Paul. Hamish McLachlan. He said, g'day, Hamish. Great call on Monday. Loved watching the big freeze. I said, Paul, I feel like I've spent a lot of time with you. I've listened to you a lot, but we've actually never met. And he said, oh, no, I've listened to you. It's been great. I spoke to him for 25 minutes, leaning on a wall not far from the urinals in the change rooms. He is 17 out of 10 as a bloke. And his performance of Leaps and Bounds yesterday, unbelievable, is everything you would want your musical hero to be. Ripper, I've found one.
Good man. My turn, I assume. Righto.
Yeah.
I found one. I found a doppelganger for Dan Butler. Okay, this is I'm introducing in this segment called "I've Found One." I've found a doppelganger. There's Dan Butler. Righto. And here's his. That's me. Here's his doppel.
Cheer from Pizza Boys Traralgon. Today's Tuesday, Tight Ass Tuesday, where
That is
you can save a
absolutely
massive
Dan Butler's doppelganger.
off every slab pizza when you order. All you got to do is order one of the 3 easy ways by downloading our app. And
Where was he, that bloke? A pizza parlour somewhere.
Traralgon
Pizza Parlour. Dan Butler works part-time. So then I got starting to think about doppelgangers. And, of course, I found one for you.
every time I the winds of change continue.
Julio Iglesias. Every time, and I adore Julio Iglesias, and I adore you. And every time I see Julio, I go, they actually been seen in the same room together, Hamish McLachlan and Julio Iglesias. I don't know. Oh, will you turn that off? And then I was whopping around doing a lap of the internet, and I found my own doppelganger. It's
the best looking human on the planet, Jimmy
number of people
Bartell.
over my life have said, hi, Jimmy. And I go, no, sorry, I'm not. You know, you think I'm Jimmy Bartell. I'm not actually. My name's Ross. Betting like the Watsons. I know.
Before we get there, have you seen the movie Cars?
Probably with Hot Joe when he was a baby.
Have a look at this finish in a car race, and I'll get to why I'm showing you this in a second.
The most spectacular, amazing, unequivocally unbelievable ending in the history of the world. And we don't even know who won.
Triple bit, eh?
Red car sticks its tongue out, wins by a millimetre. Yeah?
Yeah, got it.
Got it? Okay. Have a look at this. Have a look at this horse race in the US. Now we zoom in on this.
What?
We zoom in.
Oh no! The without the horse's tongue out, it's a dead heat. But with the tongue out,
Yes.
the horse with the tongue out clearly has crossed the line first if the tongue counts. Right.
Correct.
I'm going to get Artie Fishel to write a song called "Does the Tongue Count?" What do you reckon? Does the tongue count? It has to, does it not?
It can. Yeah, no, it's a win. It's a win for the horse. Yeah,
Right,
it's a
betting
win.
for this weekend, we got
It's
$1
a
million to bet away. I'm going to have $1 billion on Big Papa. Big Papa at wherever, Rose Hill, I think I said. What about you? What are you having $1 million on?
Well, you'll remember that Jerry Geneva Jerry had a very big bet on a horse at $9 and $3 called a Samurai Mine. It won in the most remarkable circumstances. Geneva was delighted. Its half-sister called A Certain Song, same colours, same trainers, runs this weekend. I looked at the odds. It is the same price, $9 and $3. So as Geneva Jerry did back then, he's going to have a big bet. He's going to have $300,000 to win at 9 and $700,000 to place at 3. A Certain Song in Adelaide.
We have created the multi-listener multi. Did we get near it 1 week?
It's
we missed
shit.
by one. If you want to bet small to win big, if you want to be one of the listeners in the multi-listener multi, email us to eachway at tappedmedia.com.au. Your name will go into the draw. Last week's 9-leg multi we had a crack at. We have $20 on it each week, and it'll be whacked up between the listeners involved in the unlikely event it ever gets up. Storm to beat the Knights, yes. Swans to beat St Kilda, yes. Port to beat West Coast, yes. Freo to beat North, yes. Randwick race 5, Decalogue the place, yes. Hawks to beat Hawks to beat Bulldogs. No. Aaron Norton 2+ goals. No. Eagle Farm King Zephyr the place. No. Flemington High on the Hill the place. No. Let's get to this week's multi-listener multi. 8 legs. We'll have $20 on this at $27. So we're whacking up whatever 20 times 27 is. Someone do it for me. Mark. Now, this will be the World Cup. Brazil to beat Morocco, $1.65. Ernie, Rabbitohs to beat Broncos, $1.48. Tim, Toby Green, 16+ disposals, $1.63. Russell, Riley West, 1+ goals, $1.34. Andrew, Dolphins to beat Roosters, $1.43. Bernie, Geelong to beat Gold Coast, $1.27. Sam, Rosehill Race 5, Surse up the place at $1.70. Ron, Race 4, King Pedro the place at $1.67. $20 times 27. I was going to say $5.40. Good luck, God bless, and all who sail in you. The multi-listener multi, email us now, 2eachway at tappedmedia.com.au. Email us about anything. Follow 2eachway wherever you get your podcasts. And remember, whatever your 2 is, enjoy.
Whatever your 2 is, enjoy.